Hey guys, Ryan Earnhardt here from CreativeSoundLab.tv. Well, today I want to show you a trick that I didn't even think would be as valuable as it is. You'd think that with dynamic processing, if you want a little less of something, you can just kind of do a little bit less compression. But this one actually has a very precise way of dialing it in. It allows precision. So I want to talk to you about wet and dry mixes of de-essing. Okay, so this one recently came on my radar, and for whatever reason I hadn't thought of it. And I forget which famous producer, mixer, whatever was kind of using it, and they were actually creaming the vocal with the de-esser. This is all in plugins. But the plugin happened to have a wet dry, and I thought that was kind of interesting, but I was like, yeah, so what, But the way that they used it, it was, I don't know, it's kind of curious because it actually seemed to really work. Now, they only used it about 20% wet, I believe. In my experience, it just doesn't work like that. I mean, you have to be pretty aggressive and only allow a little bit in. So yeah, we're gonna be kind of playing around with that today. I have a song that great vocalist, great mic, but for whatever reason the positioning really kind of screwed me over. There's a million things to worry about. It was all done live, and yeah, this one slipped away from me. I had a little bit more of a sibilant mic position than what I would have liked. So yeah, on top of that, with aggressive compression, I have a Sibilance issue. So this trick really helped me out today. So kind of some backstory. I have the vocal chain going out to this DBX 902. Then I have it going back into the computer and then out again to the compressor. So it's getting slammed by this compressor. It's the Audio Escape 76A. It's the 8+4 mode. You can see two of the buttons are depressed there. By the way, if you haven't tried this setting, in any 1176, try the 8+4. It's got that aggressive kind of all buttons in sound, but it's a little bit easy. It's a little bit light. And so if you don't want to slam something, you don't want to completely clamp down on it, it just kind of lets the vocals, anything you have, kind of breathe a little bit. Okay, it keeps it big sounding without clamping down on it too much. If you want to clamp down on it more, you could go for like a 12+8 or a 20+12. What's cool is that you can actually, you can vary the feel of the two ratios that you pick. And for me, I guess you could do 12+8+4, but for me, 8+4 is kind of a really cool trick that I do a lot. It just kind of gets me that aggressive sound. It slows down the attack just a smidge. It's a great sound. So that's kind of my backstory, kind of the vocal chain that's happening here. So let's check it out. Okay, let me just kind of play for it without the de-essing. Then I'll play it with the de-essing at kind of varying degrees. I'm just kind of checking, make sure you can actually see all the knobs of the de-esser here. And then I'll do the trick that I want to show you. I think it works out pretty cool.
You've been calling the doctors, 'cause the pain never ends. Yeah, you're lost and you're broken, searching around, saying which way's the right way, when everywhere looks down. If you're wanting some answers and you're needing a friend, you've been calling the doctors, 'cause the pain never ends. Yeah, you're lost and you're broken, searching around, saying which way's the right way, when everywhere looks down.
So you can hear looks down. The X, that one was totally killed. Almost a little too much. A lot of times we think of sibilants as S's, but I guess they can be X's as well, which is kind of funny. Control those X's.
If you wanted some answers and you're needing a friend.
So we have a lisp happening here where we overkill the S and it kind of creates like this lisp effect.
You've been calling the doctors 'cause the pain never ends. Yeah, you're lost and you're broke, searching around, saying which way's the right.
So it's a little too aggressive. Let me try to kind of dial it back and find a happy medium.
If you wanted some answers and you're needing a friend, you've been calling the doctors 'cause the pain never ends. Yeah, you're lost and you're broke, searching around, saying which way's the right way when everywhere looks down. If you wanted some answers and you're needing a friend, you've been calling the doctors 'cause the pain never ends. Yeah, you're lost and you're broke, searching around, saying which way's the right way when everywhere looks down.
That's actually really amazing. I mean, that's close. That's why I love this thing, you know? I mean, I talked with Eric Seraphin about this, and he always seemed to use like 2 of these things, and it took him like 20 minutes to dial it in. But every time I use one, it's just like, it solves issues pretty fast, I just adjusted the frequency. I went full range. So instead of just taking out the high frequencies, it took out everything just real quick. But I adjusted the range to go higher frequency and very, very aggressive, and it actually sounds pretty good.
If you wanted some answers and you're needing a friend, you've been calling the doctors 'cause the pain never ends. Yeah, you're lost and you're broke, searching around, saying which way's the right way when everywhere looks down.
So that's pretty good. I mean, it's still a little too far at times. It's like, okay, like there's certain words I really like it at, but there's other times it's still a little too far. Okay, so what this trick does is it allows you to just say, you know what? Let's just cream it. Let's go a little bit overboard with this. So instead of letting some of those S's or X's through, we could just cream all of it. Okay? Then we can dial it back. So we're going to do about an 80% processed mix of wet and 20% dry. And allowing kind of this mixture to happen, it really gives you this really precise control. But you got to really cream it, though. Okay, that's the trick.
If you wanted some answers and you're needing a friend, you've been calling the doctors 'cause the pain never ends. Yeah, you're lost and you're broke, searching around, saying which way's the right way.
Okay, so I'm creaming it pretty good. So now I'm going to dial in the wet and dry, and that's right here. So 0.8 is 80%. This is the Pipeline XT inside of Studio One. So I can dial in the wet-dry mix. Go ahead and check the latency. Cool. Everything looks good. It's kind of all, automatically done. Cool. So I'm good to go. So I'm just going to I'm going to mix the dry and wet here, and I'll show you how it works. So here's fully wet.
you wanted some answers and you're needing a friend, you've been calling the doctors, 'cause the pain never ends. Yeah, you're lost and you're broken, searching around, saying which way is the right way when everywhere looks down.
Yeah.
If you wanted some answers and you're needing a friend, you've been calling the doctors, 'cause the pain never ends. Yeah, you're lost and you're broken, searching around, saying which way is the right way when everywhere looks down.
So yeah, there's still some really aggressive S in there that still might be a bit too much. Just cream it some more.
If you wanted some answers and you're needing a friend, you've been calling the doctors, 'cause the pain never ends. Yeah, you're lost and you're broken, searching around.
Yeah, searching around.
Searching around.
So even 67% wet is still too much. So let's go to 80. See kind of how that is.
Searching around.
So maybe like closer to 90.
Searching around, saying which way is the right way when everywhere looks down. If you wanted some answers and you're needing a friend, you've been calling the doctors, 'cause the pain never ends. Yeah, you're lost and you're broken, searching around, saying which way is the right way.
So I put it on just the high frequencies there.
If you wanted some answers and you're needing a friend, you've been calling the doctors, 'cause the pain never ends. Yeah, you're lost and you're broken, searching around, saying which way is the right way when everywhere looks down.
Yeah, so, I might still go about 80% and just go and automate that S and searching around, because that's still getting through. But overall, this is, I think, the best success that I've had. And, I know a lot of people, they started kind of throwing in like, hey, you should do this one or this one or this one or soothe or whatever. Like, yeah, that's true. But, I'm kind of approaching this as a teacher, right? You can use this for anything. You could use this for, fret noise or whatever, okay? There's tons of different ways to do things. And if this doesn't solve a problem, then maybe it gives you an idea to solve something else that comes up in the future. Maybe you could think of a different way to respin this tip. So yeah, the 902, I definitely will be picking up the Plugin Alliance one when I can get a sale on it. I just love the 902. It just seems to work really well. So yeah, I thought this was pretty cool. This gave me a lot of control, a lot of fine tuning of the S that I thought was really valuable. Figured I'd share it and pass it along. So, be hanging out in the comments below. Talk to you soon.